Hi everyone, this is Adam Dakin, Managing Director for Dreamit Healthtech. Today I'm going to answer the most common questions we get about our program. So in the health tech vertical, first we are looking for medtech companies, digital health or diagnostic platforms. On the digital health side, these companies are in market, they have referenceable customers. It may not be a lot, but they're past product market fit. Generally, they have some early revenue. On the medtech side, we will go a little bit earlier, but the companies have line of sight to commercialization. In general, we want companies that can really leverage access to our extensive stakeholder network, where we can truly add value by accelerating commercialization and access to capital. So the stage and level of traction that we're looking for are companies that are beyond the raw startup stage. Now, there is a distinction between digital health and medtech companies. Our digital health companies are generally in market, they have customers, and they're truly ready to scale. The stakeholder partners that we work with expect these companies to be ready to deploy when they see a platform that they're excited about. On the med tech side, we will go earlier there. Often med tech companies may be pre-revenue, but they have line of sight to a regulatory clearance if that's needed, and commercialization. There are a number of key factors that differentiate Dreamit from other accelerators that you might be familiar with. In fact, I prefer to refer to us as a sleeves-up venture fund. We're typically working with companies that are later stage than typical accelerators. Our companies are in market. They're truly ready to scale and raise capital. We are super selective on the front end. We're typically working with 6 to 8 companies per cohort, 2 cohorts a year. And the reason we're so selective is we're looking at companies through the lens of a venture capitalist. When a company comes into Dreamit, they come in with the belief that they will be a venture backable company and that we will be investing in them. So our approach is very different from other accelerators that typically get a large chunk of equity up front, whereas our returns are truly driven by being a venture investor. Some of the other accelerators you're familiar with are what I sometimes call better by the pound acceleration. That is the exact opposite of Dreamit. Our program is very individualized and highly curated. We only make returns if the companies we bring into the program scale, create value, raise capital, and we co-invest. That model is very attractive because it aligns interests between Dreamit and the startup. Co-location is not part of the Dreamit program. In fact, the vast majority of the program is done virtually. There are 5 weeks of the program where we are physically together. That's the first week, which is the onboarding week. There are 2 weeks in the middle called customer sprints when we're visiting north of 20 potential stakeholder and customer partners. And then there are 2 weeks at the end of the program when we're doing investor sprints, a week on the East Coast and a week on the West Coast, visiting venture funds. The rest of the program is done virtually. We're typically meeting with teams 1 to 2 hours a week during a video chat to prepare for investor sprints and customer sprints. We pride ourselves on adding significant value to the companies that go through Dreamit. The benefits we provide really fall under 3 categories or 3 pillars, if you will: coaching, customers, and capital. On the coaching side, our team has deep operational experience. My background includes co-founding 5 companies and raising venture capital for all of them. We have a lot of pattern recognition around what customers and what investors are looking for. Therefore, the first phase of the program really is trying to surface areas of weakness and making sure that we address those. So we investigate every aspect of your business plan. That could include your go-to-market strategy, your pricing, your market sizing, your financial statements, but making sure your value proposition and your pitch is really tight before we put you in front of customers and investors. Customers is the second pillar of our program. We have an incredible network of nearly 40 enterprise healthcare systems, providers, payers, big pharma partners, large multinationals who are kind enough to bring senior level decision makers into a room to meet with our teams during 2 weeks of customer sprints. During our most recent customer sprint, we met with 20 potential customers. And as you know, being a startup, getting access to decision makers is one of the toughest challenges you face. And getting in the room with a decision maker can accelerate your sales cycle by 6 to 9 months. Next phase of the program are investor sprints. We reach out to nearly 1,000 venture funds who again know that we're only bringing them the highest caliber digital health and med tech companies. They meet with companies very selectively. They look at the cohort. They decide which companies they want to meet with, those that align with their investment thesis. And our companies are typically getting face-to-face with between 20 and 25 venture funds across 2 weeks, 1 week on the East Coast and 1 week on the West Coast. Our track record's very good. About half of our companies will close around within 6 months of completing the Dreamit program, and then we co-invest in the vast majority of those deals. We're typically interacting with your team 1 to 2 times per week during 1-hour managing director sessions. But like you, we work startup hours. We know things happen at a startup outside of normal business hours. For example, you might get a term sheet late on a Friday afternoon that you want input on. Or you're giving a really important pitch early Monday morning and you want to rehearse that over the weekend and get feedback. We are truly available to you nights and weekends. In fact, our team takes those calls all the time. During customer sprints, we'll typically get in front of 20 different payer providers, big pharma partners, depending on your particular go-to-market strategy. During investor sprints, we'll typically get our teams in front of between 20 and 25 venture funds who specifically want to meet with them. We often get asked, what kind of results can I expect? And the answer is, that's really under your control. It's up to your team to execute and follow up on those opportunities. What I can guarantee you is that you will be extremely well prepared when you walk into those meetings, and we will absolutely maximize your probability of success. Dreamit receives the right to invest up to $500,000 and a small amount of advisor equity. For companies that are earlier in their development but would still receive meaningful benefit from our full program, Dreamit may consider alternative investment structures. Here are 3 things that will quickly eliminate your company from consideration. First, you are not a digital health, med tech, or diagnostics company. Number 2, you're still in the ideation phase without true line of sight to commercialization. And finally, you must enter the program with at least 6 months of runway. If you're interested in the Dreamit program, I encourage you to fill out the application at dreamit.com/apply. If you're on the fence, send us your investor deck. I always say, when in doubt, fill it out. Often companies feel like they're a little bit early for the current cohort, but getting your deck and having a conversation gives us an opportunity for us to get to know you and for you to get to know us. Finally, I encourage you to take advantage of all the terrific content we have online. In addition, you'll be able to gain a true insider's view into our program.